Let's work this problem out. Okay, so for this problem, we have a 10 centimeter diameter copper ball, which is to be heated from 100 degrees Celsius to an average temperature of 150 degrees Celsius, and this to take 30 minutes. And we want to take the average density and specific heat of copper in this temperature range to be 8,950 kilograms per meter cube. Okay, and the specific heat is going to be the following. Okay, so they want us to determine the there's gonna be three parts. The first part is they want us to determine the total amount of heat transferred to the copper ball. All right, having gone over thermodynamics and all of those equations that we've worked on, we know that we will end up using the energy transfer, which is going to be energy transfer. It would equal to the mass times C times delta T. Okay, I need all of you to notice that the difference in temperature, we have it. Okay, we have the difference in temperature in this case. We also have a specific heat. Okay, and we need to know the mass. But here's the thing, we don't know what the mass of this is. Okay, so let's look at the difference in temperature first. Delta T is just going to be final temperature. Let me rewrite that. Final temperature minus the initial temperature, which we know that we started at 100 degrees and we ended at 150 degrees. Okay, so 150 degrees Celsius minus 100 degrees Celsius. So delta T in this case is just 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, and like I said, we have the specific heat, which in this case is just 0.395 kilojoules, all divided by kilograms times degrees Celsius. Okay, and we can go ahead and just plug in these values for the difference in temperature and the specific heat. The only thing that we are missing is just the mass. So how do we find the mass? Well, we know that density, okay, we know that density is equal to the mass divided by the volume. There's a reason why we are given the density, and another reason why we are given the diameter. Okay, so in order to find the mass, in this case, what we will need to do is multiply both sides by the volume. Cancels out. That way, we have that the mass is equal to the density times the volume. Now again, density, we already have it. We need to find the volume. We use this formula right here to find the volume. Okay, so we need the radius, which we are essentially given. Okay, is given to us in terms of diameter. You can divide that by 100, and then you can divide it by 2 to put it into radius. Okay, I want to show you something else just in case you ever get to use it, and that is that the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius, right? If we divide this by 2, then the radius is actually equal to d over 2. I can go ahead and make a substitution. So 4 over 3 times pi. I know that the radius in here is equal to d over 2, and I have to raise it to the third. So then my volume is just going to be 4 over 3 times pi times d raised to the 3 over 8. Okay, and that is because 2 raised to the 3 is equal to 8. Okay, now I can cancel things out in here. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 2 times, and then I can multiply 2 times 3, which is 6. So my volume in this case is just going to be pi d cubed over 6. Okay. So I have that the diameter is 10 centimeters. I need to convert that into meters, and I do so by dividing by 100 or dividing the decimal place by 2. Again, meters, centimeters is centi, 100. So then my diameter is just going to be 0.10 meters. So if I plug this in, I have pi times 0.10. Actually, you know what? Let me put it in here. Let me put it into the mass. Okay. So if I do that, mass will go to the density, which again that is 8,950 kilograms per meter cubed. I need more space. Let me place it down here. The mass is going to be 8,950 kilograms times meters cubed. Okay. Now we found out that the volume, which is what I was going to do over here, is just pi. Okay. Yeah, pi times 0.10 meters. Okay, raised to the third. Now, once we multiply these two together, we will be able to find what the actual mass is. And you'll be able to see that meters cancel out. Okay, and that's because m raised to the third is just m cubed. Once you plug in all of this into the calculator, once all the units cancel out, you are going to get 4.686 kilograms. Now we can plug this in into our equation, since now we have everything that we need. So then Q equals to mc delta T, which we already know the mass is 4.686 kilograms. Okay. Specific heat, again, it's 0.395 kilojoules divided by kilograms times degrees Celsius times the delta T, which we found to be 50 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now we can start canceling out units. So degrees Celsius cancel out, kilograms cancel out, and we just end up with kilojoules. Okay. Once you put all of this into the calculator, you are going to end up with 92.6 kilojoules. Okay. Let me rewrite this. Again, just end up with 92.6 kilojoules. Okay. Now we want to, for part B, we want to find the average rate of heat transfer to the ball. What we're looking for in here, keyword, it's the rate. Okay. We already know that for that, the average rate, or not necessarily the average, but yeah, so the rate, that is gonna have to do with the energy transfer that we just found over a period of time. And if we read the problem again, we are given that this is happening within 30 minutes. So we wanna, before we do anything, let's convert that into seconds. Okay, so 30 minutes. I wanna cancel out the minutes. I'm gonna put it on the denominator, and I know I wanna go to seconds. Okay, I know that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, so minutes cancel out. Once I multiply all of this out, 30 times 60 is just going to be 1800 seconds. Okay, so then the rate of energy transfer in this case is just going to be 92.6 kilojoules divided by the time, which in this case is just 1800 seconds, which is going to be 0.0514 kilojoules per second. Okay. One thing to remember is that a watt is actually equal to a joule per second. Okay. Another thing is that, remember, kilo represents 1000, right? So I can essentially move this decimal place 1, 2, 3. I'm moving it 3 times because that's 1000. Or you can just multiply 0.0514 times 1000 and you still get 51.4 joules per second, or 51.4 watts. Okay, that's what we got, and we got 92.6 over here as well. Now the last part, we are being asked to find the average heat flux. Okay, now for this part, we're gonna take what we just found and we're gonna divide it by the area. So heat flux, we actually use lowercase q dot, and that is going to be q dot over area. Okay, which is 51.4 watts, and the formula that I'm going to use for the area is just going to be pi d squared. Okay, so if I do that, I have 51.4 watts divided by 0.1 meters raised to the second, or as my final answer, it will be 1636 watts per meter square. Okay, again, formulas that we use was energy transfer, which is mc delta t, and then the rate of energy being transferred, which is q dot equals to q over delta t, and then the heat flux, which in this case is just the rate of energy being transferred divided by the area. Okay, I hope that helps.